Uncovered. Democrats caught colluding with Muslims to take down President Trump. This is treason, folks. House PCs were allegedly accessed to by 5 Pakistani IT experts, who were not approved for this, and stole significant hardware. Notwithstanding, what they figured out how to discover was valuable and fascinating data. The 5 professionals figured out how to take $4 million in benefit, and some of this cash originated from delegates who utilize their administrations less oftentimes. In-house, the yearly partner's compensation adds up to $43,000. Still, one of the suspects, Imran Awan, earned $1.2 million since 2010. Every one of the 3 of the suspects is siblings, and 2 of their wives are likewise required for the situation. Their names are Imran, Jamal, and Abid, Hina, Alvi, and Natalia, Sova. These suspects were utilized by the accompanying entities: Jim Costa, DCA, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, DFL, Tim Ryan, DO, Yvette Clark, DNY, and 27 others. All names recorded above are Democrats and hold high positions on knowledge panels. One of the wives, Hina, was the most required of them all. She once in a while went to work, yet was the most paid of all. Meanwhile, her significant other Imran, would take her around to the workplaces, yet before long, he halted, notwithstanding setting up the deception, and did all that stuff himself. Right now, all siblings are situated in Pakistan. One of the siblings went bankrupt in 2012, yet at the same time remains some way or another rich. This investigation needs to commence quickly, and hoodlums, for example, these must be authorized as per injustice. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comments section below. Share the truth, be patriots. Thanks for reading. Justice is served. Mike Pence just ripped John Lewis to pieces on live TV after he attacked Trump. Amazing. In all seriousness, thank you, Mike Pence. Today you guarded Donald Trump against unadulterated liberal sabotage in the most deferential and expressive way that is available. He went on Fox News to discuss all that happened this end of the week, with Congressman John Lewis saying Trump was not a legitimate president and Trump striking back. Churs Wallace attempted to be slippery and put Mr. Pence into a corner by inquiring as to whether it was okay for Trump to call Lewis a do-nothing since he was a bleeding-edge contender of the civil rights movement. Pence looked at Chris without flinching and gave the ideal response. I think Donald Trump has the right to defend himself. Pence went ahead to clarify, when someone of John Lewis' stature, someone who is not only an icon in the civil rights movement but also someone who, by virtue of his sacrifice on that day that we know as Bloody Sunday, he crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and it was through that the Voting Rights Act itself, for someone of his stature to use terms like, "This is not a legitimate president." And I hope he reconsiders. Could it be any more obvious? Donald Trump doesn't want to make adversaries with these folks. He needs to help them. Not help them with their terrible arrangements. He needs to help them by making our nation united again. We should demonstrate solidarity with America's 45th president by sharing this story all around. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comments section below. Supreme Court gives Obama some terrible news. Neil Gorsuch just made his first ruling as a Supreme Court justice, and it was a big one. Trendify reported that the Supreme Court met this week to decide a case that was very close to Barack Obama's heart. The highest court in the land made the decision that the only Islam taught to our children in public schools will be the history of radical Islam and what they can do to help stop it. Gorsuch cast the deciding vote in this case, as the Supreme Court ruled 5-4. The government certainly has no business being involved in religion, but this isn't a government issue or a religious issue, Gorsuch said in a statement. This is about the judicial branch interpreting the laws as they apply to the teaching of religion. We should be teaching any religions in this country besides standard Judeo-Christianity, as our founders wanted, and we certainly shouldn't be filling the children with lies about Islam being a religion of peace when they see the carnage on the news almost every day. It is our duty as Americans first and judges second to safeguard the way our children are indoctrinated, he added. Share this story if you support this ruling. Everyone is talking about what Melania Trump did for Easter. Though the Obamas both claim to be proud Christians, they spent the last 8 years completely ignoring Christian holidays in favor of instead promoting Muslim holy days. That's why the deep Christian faith of the Trumps has been so refreshing. The Sun Sentinel reported that the entire Trump family was spotted on Sunday attending Easter church services at the altar of the Episcopal Church of Bethesda by the Sea. President Donald Trump and his wife Melania were accompanied at the service by both Tiffany and Barron Trump as well as Melania's parents. It's Melania, however, who got the most attention of the group for her truly stunning outfit. The First Lady took to Twitter to wish her followers a happy Easter, as she also posted a photo of herself wearing a beautiful white dress. This came after hundreds of people Saturday afternoon marched from West Palm Beach toward Mar-a-Lago, calling for the president to release his tax returns. President Trump responded to this on Twitter right before he left for the church service on Sunday. "I did what was almost an impossible thing to do for a Republican easily won the Electoral College. Now tax returns are brought up again?" He tweeted. "Someone should look into who paid for the small organized rallies yesterday. The election is over." Share this story if you love the Trump family. Breaking news out of North Korea right now. In breaking news which should make all red-blooded Americans glee with pride and patriotism. A former British Foreign Secretary Sir Malcolm Rifkind is telling the BBC that Saturday's failed North Korean missile misfire was apparently no misfire at all. Apparently, it's being reported that the missile fired Saturday, which blew up almost immediately after launch, wasn't just North Korea's ancient technology and plain ineptness at play, but it was none other than the Pentagon's doing. It's rumored President Trump's Pentagon has used cyber warfare tactics to render Kim Jong-un's wargaming days over, at least for now. Via the Federalist Papers. The failed missile test in North Korea may have been an act of sabotage by the United States government. A former British Foreign Secretary is telling the BBC that American intelligence used cyber warfare before to thwart North Korean missile test and that there is a strong belief that the Trump administration was behind the regime's failed launch. Sir Malcolm Rifkind said, "It could have failed because the system is not competent enough to make it work, but there is a very strong belief that the US through cyber methods has been successful on several occasions in interrupting these sorts of tests and making them fail." All this came at a time when United States Vice President Mike Pence is scheduled to visit South Korea. Pence is visiting to discuss the rising tensions between the North and the South. Because the Korean War ended in a truth and not an actual peace treaty, the dirt-poor North Korea and the prosperous democracy freedom-loving South are still at war. Kim Jong-un, which is also known as the only fat boy in North Korea, where most of its population is starving, regularly threatens the South and the South's main ally, the United States of America. As he stated multiple times during the 2016 presidential campaign, President Trump has sent a clear message to Fat Boy stating if he keeps up his shenanigans he might even give the order to strike without North Korea striking first. By doing this, Trump has set a clear presence that the days when Fat Boy used to throw a temper tantrum and the US would send him money or sign Michael Jordan basketballs to keep the peace were in fact over. This shows the deal President Bill Clinton made in order to stop North Korea's nuclear program was a resounding failure. Thank God the days of the Clinton and Obama appeasement policies and leading from behind are over. Good riddance. Look what Trump just did for Easter. This is amazing. After 8 long and dark years of having the far-left anti-American heat, Barack Hussein Obama as president, this Easter Christians can once again be proud of their leader. It's being reported President Trump has traveled to Mar-a-Lago on Air Force One for this Easter Sunday. First Lady Melania and their son Barron will travel on their own Trump Force One to meet him. They are going to have the whole Trump family over for Easter Sunday celebrations. Except for Hina, who is celebrating Passover in Canada with her husband Jared Kushner and 3 children. The first family will attend Easter service at the Church of Bethesda by the Sea near their estate in Palm Beach, Florida on Sunday. the same church where the future president and future first lady were married back in 2005. The president is then expected to spend the rest of the afternoon with family, celebrating Easter festivities and having their traditional Easter egg hunt with his grandchildren. On Monday, he and the First Lady will travel together to the White House to host the annual Easter egg roll. The first Easter egg roll began in 1814 and it was started by First Lady Dolly Madison, the wife of then President James Madison. Hundreds of children decorated their own eggs, which they brought from home, to join in the fun. Of course, during their time at the White House, the Obamas turned the fun into a let's go play them to promote an active lifestyle. They could never take a break from the agenda. During his weekly radio address, President Trump stated, "Easter is a holy day of reverence and worship, a sacred time that fills the spirit of our nation with the faith of our people. America is a nation of believers. As long as we have faith in each other, and trust in God, we will succeed. We're a Christian nation again. Amen, my president, amen, amen." Shocking. 3 Gowdy revealed Obama's secret sleazy actions, you'll be speechless? In a current bombshell revelation, 3 Gowdy uncovered mystery operations completed